Hey folks, it's Kieran Dave here. I was just about to sit down and record another session. I thought to myself, I've included Tinker's Construct in Natura. I should verify, do these, uh, actually talk to our biome, like extra biomes and biomes of plenty? Turns out they don't, as you can see from this code right here. It's pretty much hardwired to the vanilla biomes. No sweat though, we can fix this. It's a pretty easy sort of mod to just toss that in, so I will probably be taking that on soon. That's not the sort of thing that should scare me. But that's not why generally you would be wanting to listen to a Let's Play about Minecraft. It's not a Let's Code. So let's play. So, this is actually a 151 world that I have spawned up. And so Resonant Rise is not quite ready. I think I mentioned before that it's still coming together. There's just not a lot of mods that, are really ready for the 151 transition. Some things are, some things aren't, and some things are and are not at the same time. Meaning, well, that while they may have, compatibility and they'll compile and they won't break, they really aren't ready. Like if you add in other mods, they don't work properly. So I spawned together another world, and here we have this beautiful idyllic world. And you can see actually that there are some pretty cool things in this Biomes of Plenty orchard biome. Yeah, we're in an orchard biome. You'll notice the mini-map over in the corner that got integrated into the client build. And as part of 151, there's a whole bunch of extra stuff that got added in. Let me see if I can find some of it for you, because I know there's something around here. But what I'm running around doing actually is looking for some sand. I'm not going to collect it on camera, don't worry. Oh, and that's right. Let's just kill that, put that there. I got some feedback, which people said, make the brightness bright, make the music super low, and the sound super low. So hopefully that's good. Um, let's see, that's unfortunate. There's no sand here. Well, anyways, I need some sand, and you'll see why in a little bit. But here we have this beautiful orchard, lots of flowers. I love Biomes of Plenty, and their generators are great. And you can see there we go off into kind of some rolling redlands, some imposing mountains off in the distance. Those are really, really extreme biomes. Aha, here it is. See this dark liquid, this dark, unappealing liquid. What's going on here? Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh God! Oh. I'm ill. I'm terrified. So what this is part of Mind Factory Reloaded. For some reason, I think just because the author Power Crystals is a guy with a good sense of humor, he has decided to put just pools of liquid sewage out in the world, which is it's wonderful, right? Yeah. So this liquid sewage is pretty gross. And it hurts you, but you could pump it and use it. I'm not sure if it's sewage or sludge. I haven't bucketed it to actually name it. I think it might actually be sludge, but it's not awesome. Anyways, so I have done some mining and I found a couple good places, and there's a bunch of mods still missing from this pack, so it's not quite ready for prime time. I'm still working on permissions, which will probably take a lot longer. But I do have some other exciting news. I have a couple people who've agreed to do some server Let's Plays with me with this mod pack. So hopefully that'll be coming together. We're trying not to wait too long, but we do want to make sure to do it right and not have a totally stupid pack. Um, so I have been, as you can see here, working away with exactly the same setup as before. I've almost gotten exactly where I was. I found a dungeon. I found some deep iron. I didn't find quite so much zinc this time, but I did find some zinc. And you can see by accident, this world is generating 2 copper. It's the vagaries of generating a mod pack, Um, but this is a 151 world. So I think the best way to show that is that one of the things I was doing was sitting here manning these stone crushers, getting ready for the next episode, and I was like, "Oh my God, these are so slow." Remember, I showed you they're just really slow. So, and I thought to myself, why do it this way? When we could automate it. What would it take to automate it? And the first thing, of course, I thought was, oh, you know what we should do? We could make an autarkic gate, or maybe a gate that emits a redstone signal. And I thought, oh, build crafty, right? And you could like, oh, well, if we had red power, we could use a transposer. And oh, well, if we had, if I have infinite tubes, I could use a translocator from there. And I think Chickens Bones recently did a really cool mod, a translocator mod that's not unlike what Imabis does, but more flexible. And then I thought to myself, didn't we just get a big update from Mojang that included something cool and something that actually be perfect for what we're doing here? So let me cook up a little bit of this iron and I'll show you what I have in mind. I'm going to need almost all of it. But what we're going to do is we're going to break this down. Notice the little errors there. There's missing texture particles for some of the things. Don't sweat it though. I'm sure we'll work it all out. Metallurgy 3 is coming along nicely, and it will be ready for use, I'm told, quite soon. It already is basically ready for use. There's just a couple little errors. In fact, if anything, I would say that the other big problems are just like there's a lot of ways to crash this right now, just things that people weren't quite expecting or that haven't been tested very well. So don't be too eager to play this mod pack. Anyways, so what I wanted to do was show you. Well, I'm still getting a little used to this thing, this new control scheme they have. So this is a vanilla hopper. The new vanilla hoppers. And hoppers, these new hoppers are really cool. So the way that you place them is you have to kind of right click on the block you want to attach them to, which is a little unusual. Usually they auto detect. I actually like this method, and I think that Power Crystal should adopt it for his RedNet, but I doubt he'll listen to me. Anyway, so I have to shift right click. I go bunk, right? So now we've got this hopper here, and I'm going to actually put this guy up here. So what's so cool about these new hoppers, and it's what there's kind of mind-blowing actually, is that they are, despite being vanilla, are actually really batteries included. So let's toss some coal up in this thing, and let's toss a little bit of ore. Now, what the hopper is going to do is it's going to look in the inventory, the output inventory of the block above it, and if it finds anything, we can actually put the whole stuff in there. If it finds anything, then it's actually going to suck it out and stick it into the appropriate slot of the furnace. Now, not unlike Buildcraft pipes, it is sided. So, for example, to load coal, we'd have to put it in the side. We could put it in the side back there, and I was experimenting earlier, actually, just to make sure this all worked. And yes, that's what that trench is for. But I'm not so worried about the coal part. I can keep the coal stocked. If you look over here, I've had some success caving for coal, so we're in good condition there. Right? So I'm just going to show you for a sec. You'll see what happens here is the stuff gets sucked out. I know these are super slow. Right, so let's just toss that out. And almost there. Wait for it. Wait for it. Oh man, I gotta upgrade these so bad. They're just terribly slow. And you see it immediately sucked out and immediately sucked down in here. So I don't know about you, but I'm kind of amazed that vanilla has given us such an incredible automation tool. It is really, really powerful. It's more powerful than most basic Buildcraft setups. It will never overflow. It's roughly about as powerful as any piece of automation stuff you could ask for. The only problem is it's very vertical oriented. You can only do that from things above it. But honestly, I've been kind of thinking about building a couple mine tracks and setting a mine cart up there. I could just sweep things around. Unfortunately, you can't filter by item type without some additional mod help, so it's not quite perfect. But now that we have a little bit more iron here, we could do the same thing. We go, well, let's get that right there. And so you can kind of left click drag. See, that's I'm not sure. I'm still kind of confused. And then go like that. There we go. And I can just pull the last piece out. That's interesting. Gotta get used to that. Anyways, that's the new thing. So we got bump and bump. Right. So now we actually have another one of these setups, and I'm gonna go grab. What I'd like to do is grab some aluminum. No. We're doing good on that. So we'll grab about half of our copper, and we're going to do that up, and you'll see why in a little bit. Oh, shucks, I should have grabbed some coal. No, I don't want to throw the coal. I tell you, without inventory tweaks, I feel like a total spaz playing Minecraft. Anyway, so here we go. Gonna smelt some of that up, and that will do the almost exactly the same thing. It will toss things in their appropriate places. We've already got more iron. So I need to go do some more mining because as you can see here, I have a bunch of stuff, right? Some of it's even really cool stuff. Promethium, which I don't really know a lot about. But without forestry installed, I can't easily make bronze, which I would love to have for various tools. And without gold, I can't make any sort of automation for ore processing. So obviously I want those things. I'd love to do them. I'm not sure that this world won't be reset. So you may at some point in the future see me in a new world with similar automation levels and maybe even some new folks on the server. But I'll try to keep the logical place in the progression the same and not show off any boring builds. So let's see what we got here. First, what I'd like to do now is something that I was hoping to do the other day, but had some problems with the pack. And unfortunately, Direwolf beat me to the punch. I was hoping to do it before he did. But that may give you a hint as to what I want to do here. Let's see. Is this the recipe? Yes. So we're going to toss in that and that. And then we're going to toss in this and this. Once again, I overshoot. And we're going to make a few of these guys. In fact, I'm actually going to make a bunch more sticks, because you can never really have enough sticks early on, right? Then we go well, we could probably do without quite that many. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Right. So these are blank patterns from Tinker's Construct, and there's been some talk on the Feed the Beast forums that is both pro and anti Tinker's Construct. And so let me come down on my side of the fence. I am very pro Tinker's Construct. I think it's an amazing mod. I think that a lot of people don't understand what it's trying to do. I don't think that the author even fully understands what it's trying to do, but it's doing something cool. So let's start with learning to plank a little bit more wood. I'm almost out, which is not great, but go like this. So this is the stencil table, the first major piece you need. Next thing we need is one of these, which is the part builder, which is another useful thing. Then we need one of these, pattern chest. Right. I think that's actually everything we need to start. There's other stuff too, but so let's just let's go like this. Part builder goes there, pattern chest goes there, stencil table goes there, right? So when you build these things, right, you'll also notice that I got this book, Materials in You. I was going over it, but in case you didn't see, this mod gives you these bunch of useful books, right? And these books basically help describe to you exactly what you need to do to move forward with the mod. So this one in this case shows tools, modifiers, talks about the tools we can build with this mod, and kind of talks about what the various things do. Like, for example, we could build tool parts out of cactus, and that seems, fun. I don't really know what all of these things could possibly do. It's really interesting, actually, like how many pieces there are. Let's see. Spiny reinforced bone. I don't even know, man. All these things that you can build stuff with. And it also, what people may not realize is that it dramatically decreases the cost of tools, right? So let's see, what else am I missing? Anything important? I feel like I'm missing one table piece. So I need this, 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 and then let's see, we can always do this. Now I have to be careful because there is a pretty big break. Like right now, factorization is causing a terrible crash, just terrible. Oh man, this is not what I was envisioning as an awesome outcome. Million objects, but none of the ones I want. No. This I'll probably edit out. It's not optimal. Well, actually, so if you do forget one of the things like I have here, what you can do is go grab this book. This is the book that you actually spawn with, and it will tell you the recipes to get started. Ah, yes, I know what even it is. I know even what I'm missing. It is am I missing enough wood to do it? No. Pretty sure I see a creeper. That's fantastic. You stay there until the end of time, creeper. I'm actually really loving this orchard biome. It's quite the pretty biome. Although the giant pool of sewage is a little disconcerting, right? I mean, it's like, how healthy can these apples be with this giant pool of sludge here? I don't know, man. And these are orchard trees from Boughs of Plenty. This is not a Natura thing or anything like that. And actually, Natura seems to spawn and handle itself a little bit better than Tinker's Construct does with respect to these various world editions. No, get away from my home. Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. It's a sign of civilization when there's giant creeper holes everywhere, right? That's like the first sign that people have moved in. You know you're near someone's base when there's just craters pot marking the landscape. I should probably build a pressure plate for that door, because I know that I will forget to close it. Anyways, you can see we're still automated over here. This is like real automation, man. It's like a thing. So what we needed while we went out there was we need to get a little bit more wood. Don't even sweat it. For a crafting table. And I could have pulled one of the other ones, but I don't really want to. And let's just pop this down. So the last piece I need. What did I get? Ooh, barley seeds. I think that's good. Okay, so the reason I built this is that I need to go mining. And I actually, kind of one of the big problems with mining early on is that you'll go down, you'll start, doing your branch mining, or as I call it, strike mining. And you'll find yourself where you're just spending so many resources to find things. It can be pretty brutal. So I'm going to build a pickaxe to help me out. This is the first thing you do is you're going to go ahead and make the stencils that you need to accomplish your goal. So let's see. The next thing I need is a tool. I need a tool binding. And then I'll need a handle. So one more pattern. This is actually the only part, I think, of the process I don't like, is going this way. So now we have these, I don't like that interface is what I mean. Like, you put something in, you click the next previous pattern. It feels kind of fiddly. It'd be great if there was a better way to do that. But then you put these guys in here, and so now we have the ability to actually cut pieces out and have a lot of economy. So normally, to make a iron pickaxe, a pretty good iron pickaxe, right, for starting, we would want to do something where we would take 3 iron and 2 sticks, right? And that's actually pretty expensive if you're not if you get unlucky with iron, or you're not mining around the iron levels or whatever you're doing, it can get pretty grim. Obviously, we don't want that to happen. So what we're looking at here is using Tinker's Construct to greatly reduce the cost of things. Now, this isn't the final pickaxe I'm going to build, or even the one I'm really going to be mining a lot with. This is just a temporary one that's better than anything else I have, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is make an iron pickaxe head, right? Now here's the trick, right? If you put 2 of these guys in here like this, so you'll notice that some of these things have a material cost of 0.5, right? This is an important thing to note about the mod, is that you have these material costs of 0.5. So you'll notice that I get an iron chunk and an iron binding out of this. So I'm going to grab the iron binding, and I'm going to grab the iron chunk. I'm going to toss that in there, and now I get the iron rod out. So I've made everything I need for a full tool from only 2 iron, which is just fantastic economy when you're going early on in the system and you really want to do things. So this is just a very cheap, decent pickaxe, right? I could put together. Pickaxe reinforcement. Let me hide NEI. Let me just go. Oh, so now we can actually see it. And you can see it's got some decent durability, lousy attack, mining speed of 6, can mine up to redstone. I could actually grab some other fun stuff and toss it in there. For example, I've got all this copper here. What would it look like to make a copper pickaxe? I guess I got all that now. Let's go here. We could actually make, for the cost of 1 copper, these 2 things too, right? So this is what we have, 325 with a 6 with 3 modifiers. Is copper a better thing? 287, 6, so it doesn't affect that, right? But it reduces the durability. What about for the binding? Really doesn't change anything. I think bindings are kind of where you get to add a little bit of flair. So I'm actually going to just use the copper because I spent it. Not a big deal. I'm okay for copper. And we'll go toss these extra things in there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to empty out my inventory a little bit, and I'll show you the descent down to my mining. But I have all this copper, and this is not the chest for it. I have all this copper, and this copper is great, and I love it. But what I'd like to do is get bronze. But since forestry, I am not lucky enough to have a preview of forestry like Forgecraft is. I need to make bronze. There's a couple ways to do it, but I don't have the things I need to make it efficiently without wasting a lot of materials. So I could crush it using these guys. These will accept ores and then recrush them back down and then mix the dusts. But metallurgy, kind of like RegTech, gives you a lot less latitude to do things. Well, for starters, it doesn't give you back a 3-1-4 yield. So with forestry, you put 3 bronze and 1 tin in your crafting table, and so I guess just kind of smoosh it really hard and you get bronze, right? Awesome. Nobody else does that because it's really, really powerful. And this, if we look at this materials and you book, we'll see that there are a bunch of materials and they all have varying properties. But it's important to note that let's see, bronze has pretty good properties and is successful early on. In order to make that and have a good ratio, I'm going to need to build a smeltery, which I'm excited to build. In order to build that, I'm going to need some more sand, but I have been studiously collecting gravel, and I have about a stack of it, just one off, and I have a ton of clay, so all I need is some sand. I also am going to need, I guess I'm actually going to, you know what I should do? Let's see, how many more of those do I have? All right, this is not where I want to be. And also, I already have messed this up. Without my precious sorting systems, I am powerless, guys. What am I going to do? Guys and gals, what am I saying? All right, so we have a tool rod, we have a tool binding. What we need then for a shovel is we need a shovel head pattern. There we go, shovel head pattern, material cost of 1, huh? Let's toss that in there. So we had an extra tool head. We don't need to have a fantastic shovel, right? It's kind of like, meh, whatever. We have an iron binding. And we have, let's just grab one more iron. We're doing okay on that stuff, so it's not exactly the end of the world if we have problems. And we can also toss more of this in here. Oh, that's iron. I'm out of fuel. Fuel! You know what? We could just, well, we'll reuse what we got. So let's make, we have a binding. We have a copper rod. So all we really need to do is make this tool head, which is fortunate. Okay. And then we go over here, and we say we're making a shovel. Oh, wow, I don't even need the binding. Amazing. So that's kind of cool looking, actually. All right. So I'm going to be using that to dig up copious sums of sand, which I'm not going to inflict upon you on camera, although I will show you a little bit of what it's like. You know what I'm going to do? Just because I have all this iron, it's kind of I kind of hit a rich strike. I'm going to make myself a gosh dang sword because I actually found a dungeon I couldn't approach last night when I was playing around before I went to bed. I actually couldn't approach it because it's a zombie dungeon. So you may have seen the way that I handled skeleton dungeons. It's pretty common, right? It's easy to handle skeleton dungeons. Because the skeletons can fight each other. They don't really understand when they hit each other and then get into a fight, and that's awesome because you can just do what you need to do. But with that, I'll make a few more of these guys. It's a bit more of a problem when you're facing down a bunch of zombies that are spawning like infinitely. You obviously end up with a bit of a problem. So I like the idea of having a weapon that's more defensive. So a crossbar pattern and I think there's only one sword blade pattern should do me the trick. Let's make sure. Oh, drop some sticks. Now you might notice that I'm not using any eye. Like I said, the factorization crashes it. So bear with me as I show you all these beautiful things. Wait, wrong book. Materials in you, the other materials in you. Rapier needs a tool rod and a crossbar and a sword blade. Okay, no problem. We have these things. We have the technology for these things. Let's toss that in there. Toss that in there. Just don't want it. So let's get this. These guys can stay. Let's get that and that. So let's make a toolbar and crossguard. These should be material cost 1/2. Note I brought exactly as much iron as I need. Okay, so let's get that and this. Yes. And then finally, let's get a chest. Or I'm sorry, what am I saying? Let's get a blade. And there we go. I should have made something fancier, but it'll be my first rapier. First rapier I've seen, actually, so I'm excited about it. I'm told that the little hop step you can do is pretty cool. Let me go, right? Cool. let's sleep away the night using our our cotton-based time-space, or sorry, wool-based time-space manipulation system. All right, so I'm not going to mine on camera, but I thought I'd show you just where I was going to start. There are a bunch of great places to go grab sand, and there's a couple great places to go mine. So I'm just going to go chucker into this sand, and then I'm going to go mining, right? So I'll see you in a sec. And I'm really excited to find this. Check this out. See this pink ore? I recognize it. Yes. Check that out. Manganese ore. So I can crush that down, and I can mix that with iron to get an early access to steel. Now, it's never very efficient, so it's not a great source of steel. However, it is an early source of steel. So I think my tool that I'm going to be building is going to be made out of bronze and steel. And I think steel is actually a little bit better than bronze in terms of doing things. And it's great because we get such great efficiency out of our things that even just 1 bar of steel is enough to really make a great result. And you can see I haven't gone down very far. I need to, but I just keep finding so much cool stuff. Look at this cool cavern. Look at this cool cavern. What's not to like about this cool cavern? Anyways, yeah, I know it's boring. All right, I'm gonna have to go down deep into the mountain, down, looking for, well, lava. That's my next goal. Lucky me. I was running home to deposit my stuff, and look what I find. A single lava source block. That is exactly what I need to do what I need to do. Perfect. All right. I'll be back in a second. We'll begin the construction. Okay, so I have been mining, I have been gathering, I have grabbed a bucket of lava, and I have been cooking. I put together some grout, which is just clay, sand, and gravel. This grout is for the Tinker's Construct Smeltery, which we're going to use to make bronze. Now, I can't make steel, so this changed my plans a little bit, but I do still want to get all the great modifiers from bronze, and it'll be useful to have. So I have prepared a nice little room over here. Oh, missed a spot. Can't have anything but beautiful cobblestone for my YouTube viewers. Nothing but the finest cobblestone. Right. So this is taking a while to cook up, but this is almost done. And you can see I made basically 2 stacks of it. It was pretty easy to make. I wouldn't call it hard. Let's actually let that finish. We'll need some more stuff in a sec. But the first thing we're going to do is build our base. So we like this, right? So we have these. We're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope, you see that how a book appeared right there? So that's typical of what occurs with this mod, like I've been saying. So now we have mighty smelting, and we can make all sorts of things, right? This is actually the structure that we're going to build. So the first thing you want to do in building one of these things is lay down the base. And the base is just, lots of people like to set it in the ground, but I'm not going to here. It's just a 3x3 construction. Right? And we're going to put a little bit of cobble here to help us build in a sec. But then once you have this, right, then you're actually going to build along the outer edge. And you'll see what I mean by that in a sec, and why we put it up like this. And it should just work. Okay, so I think that that's going to be done now. Oh, gosh, almost. And then actually I need a little bit of glass, so we're going to let some of that cook. Go, glass, go. This could not be outrageous here. All right, so got a bunch of this seared brick. Obviously going to need a bunch more of these bricks. And so what you want to do then, you can actually build this kind of like arbitrarily tall, but we're not. Go 1, 2, 3, boop. I should have more over here. I should have roughly in what I need. So, right, we need 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's all we need actually for now. Yeah, maybe even less than that. I overbuilt. That's okay though. We're not exactly hurting on this stuff. Let's put down another piece of cobblestone. I may even put a little bit Don't have to strictly fill in the sides. I would only do that for aesthetic reasons. So now we got to fill in the front of our contraption here. So the first thing we're going to need is what we call a smeltery brain, right? And we just need, or controller, I guess is the new name for it. So we need one of those. And then we're going to need a casting table. We'll need one of those. We're going to need a drain. We'll need one of those. And I think the final recipe just looks like this, or perhaps like this. There we go. A faucet. Oh no, I made two. I don't need two. Oh dear. That's the problem. Right, so this is not a very hard structure to build, but it is a pretty slick looking multi-block. So probably what we'll do is just pop over here. Oh, wrong tool. Pop that off, right? It'll look pretty slick if I toss down one of those right there, right? So what we want to do is we want to put the drain and the faucet right here. And you want to have the small side facing out and the little, or the small side facing out and the big side facing in, right? You just put a little faucet there. And then, you know, we could put, I almost won't look at it that way, but that's okay. We'll worry about that later. I can make more of this stuff, no problem. Like that. What we want to do is put our casting table right here. So this is where we're actually going to pour out the liquid. Early on, you actually use a casting table. You're going to click by hand. It's a little goofy feeling, but generally works pretty well. And then once we're past that stage, see, exactly enough, then we'll get somewhere else. So I've been saving a little bit of the series bricks because we need a smeltery controller. We'll put that here. No problem. And then we're almost done, but we need one more thing. We need a piece of glass. So we can go one piece of glass in the center, and then we drag, right, and we need a lava tank. And that's why I need the lava earlier. So the lava tank is the final piece of this. And as you can see, once we get the lava tank installed, then the smeltery controller activates, and you can see we have exactly enough to do a little bit of work here. It's kind of neat that you can look into it, but we don't really strictly need to, so we're not going to stress over it. So next what I want to do is grab my lava bucket and toss enough there. I hope this is enough. Like, honestly, like, don't know if that's going to be enough. We'll find out, right? This is a learning experience for everyone. So the first thing we need to do is make some aluminum brass, because what we want to be able to do is cast this sweet bronze alloy into anything that we want. So if you look at the alloys, okay, aluminum and brass is made from 3 aluminum and 1 copper. I think I might just have that. Well, gosh, yes, 3 aluminum and then 1 copper. All right, no problem. Let's add 2. May be able to make that much. Now, if you build the structure higher, you can actually do even more stuff with it. So 1, 2, 3. We're not going to have enough to do. I know. I guess we would. So let's do 2 and just make a ton of these guys, so I don't have to consider it. And hopefully we won't run out of things. So you can actually see that they sort of appear up in here, although you may have heard that it's not a real. It's like a phantom. And that's true. It is not. You can't go in there. Hopefully, eventually, I can leap in and self-immolate, dying in a terrible fire. Let's put that there. As my mighty smelter smelts blocks. I would love for that to happen. That sounds awesome. That sounds full-on dwarfy. But also this mighty smelter has the nice property that it's an ore doubler, so it will produce roughly double the ore. I think it's actually random because like my tests keep coming up funny. I don't even know. So, but you can see that it's a pretty simple build, right? Like we're barely past Bronze Age here, right? Like I haven't even bothered to make a dang pressure plate. Well, that's cooking up. Let's do that. We have any? Well, we don't have any wood, so we're not going to be doing that anytime soon. I don't know. I'm sure that this is something everybody knows, but pro tip for those of you who just starting out, like anyone of those listening here, put a pressure plate by your door in Minecraft. Ta-da! Now you never have to close your door. I know, it's pretty impressive. Be careful doing it with iron pressure plates. All right, so how are we doing? Oh, look at that. We got some goo in there. Ooh, it's pink. It appears to be... Okay, so yeah, it's just a Modpack integration issue. So you can see I got 2 hooking up. Looks like Metallurgy 3 has a bug and it's not properly registering as copper. No problem though. I just converted the ore types and we got no issues. I'm gonna have to find more lava, aren't I? Because this is not gonna work so well. Come on. Right, so while we're waiting on that, let's grab a little bit of iron, good old vanilla iron, and toss this up in here. Well, anywhere that there is still fuel, and that's just not going to be enough fuel, is it? Of course not. These things are crazy. Right. And of course, the different ores all melt at different speeds, which is kind of an interesting balance point. I mean, like, or it's not to say balance point, but interesting concern, right? That things can take so much longer. So in this case, making the aluminum brass, we're spending a lot more fuel melting those guys than we are any other part of the system. So while this is crushing over here, ugh, all my machines are so slow. And you see that color change. So now, if I right click this guy, I'm gonna start getting, once they cool, these cool little, let's see, there we go. This is just a blank cast, right? So this isn't actually anything useful in itself. It's just there to allow us to make casts, right? And so we're going to drain this entire thing, and hopefully we'll get enough. Looks like we're using it pretty slowly. I think it's interesting that with the advent of 151, you could call it the Redstone update from the perspective of Mojang, but from Forge, I would call it the Liquid update because it seems like everybody is totally infatuated with the placeable liquids, which is, understandable because it's a pretty neat thing to do. But it is funny how like suddenly everybody's got a reason. And in fact, you know what? Bonus time. Since you put up with me dealing with that copper issue, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. And we're going to do some bucket. Well, look at all these buckets. What could they be? Liquid gold bucket, huh? That means it's placeable, right? But what's this? Liquid aluminum brass? Somehow also placeable. But liquid iron, liquid copper, liquid gold. Oh no, this build doesn't have it working. Oh no. But sure, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a bucket of liquid gold and we're going to toss it down. I'm going to leap in it and we're going to see what happens. I was hoping that the thermal expansion liquids, if you haven't seen the screenshots of those, well, evidently molten gold is a pretty chill place to be. Let's just destroy this. I guess that's okay. Okay, so we've all but totally bankrupted ourselves of these of lava with that process. I probably should have only made one. But what we can do now is go over here and make all the same things that we would normally be making. So we have a tool rod. We have a pickaxe, which is what we want. We have sword blade. Sure, why not, right? Hand guard for a long sword. Let's make sure to get a tool binding. Right, so we got plenty of things there. Gosh, I should probably make a chest for it. But anyways, we'll toss those over here for now. But I'll show you what we can do is we can go like this. Toss that in there. So now if we have some liquid metal in there, we pour it in there, it'll actually make that for us using exactly the amount we're supposed to use of the alloy. So what we'd like to do is go grab a little bit more lava, which I will not cheat in. I will go grab, and then I will be back because I saw a little bit more while I was out roaming. And we'll actually make this pickaxe before I sign off. And there we go. All right, so got a little bit of that in there. So now let's actually make ourselves a little bit of bronze. So what do we need for bronze? Let's check the alloy section, not miss it. There we are, bronze. 3 copper, 1 tin. What do you know? That sounds familiar. So let's grab the appropriate copper. So what I learned, by the way, earlier was that what I have to do, and I left this in cheat mode because I anticipated me doing this, I have to use this copper. I'm going to have to fix that. As a Modpack maintainer, it is my responsibility to do so, but just so you see I'm not, cheating, I'm going to take this and 1, 2, 3, gone. So I'm just ore dictionarying it. And I know any ore dictionary mod would let you do it, but I don't like having that sort of thing be required to use the mod pack. It's tedious, it's no fun, no one wants it. And actually, the author has promised metallurgy support, so we should be doing good on that. Anyway, so we've got three copper and 1 tin. I think that's the right tin. We'll find out in a sec. Nope, incorrect tin. That's okay though. These are the issues and why we haven't tried to push this yet. So let's see, tin ore. Let's be more specific. Probably that one. That one looks promising. Ah, indeed. And we go. Notice that, by the way, also responds to the new Minecraft feature of left dragging to spread things out. So it's obvious that this, GUI was kind of set up with that in mind, which is a nice touch because actually no one's really tapped it yet. So while that's cooking up, we're going to get that nice new feature. I wanted to spend a moment and let's see, we have any. Oh, I'll destroy this for you. And then we'll go options, cheat mode, back to recipe mode, and hide that stuff. So the other thing is you'll notice that I have this pink dust in my inventory. And this pink dust is mighty indeed. It is manganese dust. So I'd show you an NEI if that wouldn't, guarantee a client crash. But what we're going to do with that is we're going to make a little bit of steel for this tool, which hopefully will work by itself. It really is supposed to. If it doesn't, then I will just do what you saw me do and do the ore conversion. Ah, look, our tin has melted. It's beautiful. I sort of like the mechanism of this. It's entertaining, right? It's kind of very close to vanilla. I want to say. I mean, I don't know if it doesn't feel high tech, right? I don't feel like I'm macerating and putting things together. How are we doing on this? I feel like I'm actually, using like Bronze Age technology here. All right, we got all the things we need. And this is almost done. Ah, amazingly, that's actually slower than this. That's, who would have called that? Oh, and this is, we got to pull this out before it's too late. Oh, okay. So let's toss this in. This should just work. There we go. Aha! Steel dust. And now if I toss this in here with just a wee bit of fuel, let's pull out a piece from there. Should be just enough to do what we want to do. We can make the steel. Ah, and as you can see, we have now finished with our little bronze project. So since we have the steel, right, we have this steel thing here. Let's go ahead and toss this here, and we'll make the head out of steel. Let's see if this works. Of course it doesn't. Well, dun, dun, dun. I wonder if it's actually just not coated yet. That'd be funny. So there's the steel. I have this. It's got a nice high item ID. Not that. There we go. All right, and we will just destroy you. But anyways, I'll make sure that's worked out before we actually push. But you can see that that's not too tough a recipe, but I've made the manganese ore rather rare, so it's not easier to do. Once Railcraft is in the pack, you'll be better off using Railcraft. I guarantee it. All right. So we don't need the bronze for the tool head. We have that tool head. So now what we're going to do instead is use the. It clicks, it fills it in. A little bit of visual bug, but now we have a bronze rod. Similarly, I imagine what we'd like to do is make the actual tool binding out of the same material. It'll look cool. Ta-da! All right, so let's go over here. Let's make what I think will be the first awesome pick. Steel pickaxe head. Bronze and bronze. Look at that. Look at that beastly thing. It looks industrial. Right. Let's toss this back in here for a sec. I gotta get sorry. Right. Look at that. 974 durability, mining speed of 8, can already by itself mine obsidian. So here we are without a diamond, and we've got an obsidian tool. So that is pretty slick. I wonder if that's even worth putting the diamond. Oh, it just adds the diamond, add more. So let's call this Pro Miner 1. Well, nah, 0. Starting at 1 is considered harmful. I wonder if that works. Oop. No, it doesn't without me doing something to it, doesn't it? Oh, man. Well, we can call it Pro Miner 1 in our hearts. So let's see how fast this speed is, right? That's pretty good. Ooh, look, iron right down here. In the very bastion that we sleep in. All right. Well, so now obviously I've got more mining to do, like I always do. One last thing we could do really fast. Well, where'd it go? Do we have any more? Shucks, I was so enthusiastic on making all these tool heads that I may have accidentally used them all. And in doing so, I have not made an ingot caster. Huh. Wonder what I should do about that. Yeah, that's not going to work. Well, I'll have to use up my bronze the old-fashioned way, but then what I need to do is make some more aluminum brass and use that to actually make the to make more casts. Because what I would really like to do is use this for ore processing, if I can find a steady supply of lava. If I can't find a steady supply of lava, then I won't obviously do it. But we'll definitely be able to make some better tools with this, and this will speed up my mining, and going to go down and, you know, get to work. Ah, yes, so much nicer to actually have a nice tool like this. And it's reinforced too, so it doesn't even, it's, you know, it's a little misleading to even call it the same category of tool as the last set. All right, well, I think I've blathered on long enough, so I still don't have a nice sign off, so I'll just say goodbye.